From circuit to centre court overnight, world number one Novak Djokovic has broken his silence, posting a picture of a midnight training session at Rod Laver Arena while expressing gratitude to the judge who overturned his cancelled visa. But while it was all smiles on centre court, there were chaotic scenes in Melbourne's CBD.
Police used pepper spray to clear fans of the Serbian from the path of a car leaving the building where the tennis ace's lawyers are based. Fans believe Djokovic was inside, and the federal government could still return serve this morning with Djokovic's bid for a 10th Australian Open title now squarely in the hands of the Immigration Minister. Alex Hawke is weighing up whether to use his powers to cancel the unvaccinated tennis champ's visa again. Certainly plenty of dramatic developments in the past 24 hours. Let's bring in Steph Ferrier in Melbourne and Matt Doran in Canberra for us this morning. So, Steph, those scenes got pretty tense pretty quickly.
Certainly were some really chaotic scenes down in Melbourne CBD last night, Mads. That is at the location where Djokovic's lawyers are, and it's where Djokovic was taken from his immigration hotel after there were some technical difficulties with the web link for that court hearing in the Federal Circuit Court. What we saw after he had that triumphant win with Judge Anthony Kelly deciding to quash his visa cancellation was just this scene of all of his supporters really going quite wild, and as a car came out, we don't even know if it had Djokovic in it, but that's what the media believed. That's certainly what the crowd believed as they surged towards that car, and the police were trying to fend them off, ending up using pepper spray to try to get the crowd to go back. At one stage we saw somebody even jumping on top of that car. So let's just have a quick look at some of those really chaotic scenes down there and what some of his adoring fans had to say.
We surrounded his car. Big deal. You do not diffuse a situation by pepper spraying a whole entire crowd indiscriminately where there are children and women.
So some really emotional fans there, and what we also saw was milk being splashed all over the streets as well. That was as a result of fans trying to put as much milk in their eyes as possible to counter the effects of that pepper spray that they'd been sprayed with. We do know that police have defended their actions, saying that they were forced to deploy that spray due to the aggressive behaviour of the crowd. There was a leading constable and a female constable as well that suffered minor injuries, but they didn't fortunately require any treatment. And a 27-year-old man has been arrested. He was released, but he's expected to be charged on summons with assaulting police and acting in a riotous manner.
And Steph, as for the man himself, he's wasted no time at all in getting back to work?
He certainly has, Mads. He's swapped basically the Federal Circuit Court for centre court here at Rod Laver Arena, and if he was indeed in that black car, then it obviously took him to centre court, because we saw a smiling photo that he posted on Twitter along with his entourage, where he basically said, "I'm pleased and grateful that the judge overturned my visa cancellation despite all that has happened. I want to stay and try to compete at the Australian Open. I remain focused on that. I'm here to play at one of the world's most important events that we have in front of the amazing fans." And he goes on to say, "For now, I can't say more, but thank you for all standing with me through all of this and also encouraging me to stay strong." So he is certainly hoping that this isn't the last photo that we see of him at centre court. He certainly hopes that there'll be plenty of him in the future holding aloft that Norman Brooks Challenge Cup if he manages to win his 10th Australian Open title and also that record-breaking 21st Grand Slam.
He's proceeding as though he's going to play, but Matt Doran in Canberra, the Immigration Minister still actually could cancel his visa even at this stage.
He certainly could, Madeline. Good morning to you. Still crickets from the office of the Immigration Minister Alex Hawke as to whether or not any decision has been made overnight. Nothing public has been revealed other than the statement Alex Hawke put out last night saying that he has this power, this discretionary power, and he is considering whether to use it. The grounds for cancelling Novak Djokovic's visa on these grounds would be whether or not there is a public interest to do so. A fairly broad definition could be applied there, or whether or not he poses any sort of health risk to the Australian community, given that he is not vaccinated against COVID-19. It's really difficult to try to predict how the government will work in this instance. On the one hand, all of the rhetoric last week was that the rules were very clear, that all people wanting to come into Australia need to abide by those vaccination rules. But on the other hand, there is a risk that if this decision is made to cancel Novak Djokovic's visa after this ruling from the Federal Circuit Court, that he could be seen as being made an example of, or being a pawn in some sort of a political game. One Liberal backbencher who has been quite outspoken on this issue today is former tennis player and the retiring member for Bennelong, John Alexander. He was on RN Breakfast a short time ago, and he says that there should be no situation where Novak Djokovic should be deported from the country because now the judge in the Federal Circuit Court has made this ruling.
Seems no reason to do so. The judge has been abundantly clear in his finding and his comments around the finding, saying essentially what more could this man have done to meet the criteria that had been set down. And he not only ordered his release, but he also gave the decision with costs. So it's a pretty emphatic decision. But the process is that the minister does have the right to overrule that, but it would appear that Novak is not a threat to Australian society at this point.
John Alexander on ABC RN Breakfast a short time ago. He also warned that there is a risk of serious reputational damage for the Australian Open if Novak Djokovic is kicked out of the country.
Thanks, Matt, and thanks to you, Steph, as well.